Hello, welcome back to Hidden Gems. Hidden Gems is where we show you capabilities of the product that we think you should know about, but may not be obvious. Therefore, there can be hidden gems. My name is Arden Thomas. I'm the Syncom Smalltalk product manager. Any comments or suggestions or requests for the code that I show, please send those to aThomas@syncom.com. So today we've got a good show here. We're going to talk about extending the string class and basically adding to the basics. And we're going to talk about some principles about why you would want to do this and what our goals are. So let's talk about some principles. First, Smalltalk is all about making things simple, succinct, and clear. So if we're working with strings, we want to make things that are frequent or hard as simple and clear and as minimal as possible. One of the goals is to get more done with less code and be abundantly clear. And in the small scale, you may say, oh, okay, that's nice, but it doesn't make that much difference. But in the big scale, when you're talking about your entire project, it can make a massive difference between one that is too unruly to maintain properly and one that is fantastic and has a life of decades going on for working with and maintaining. One of the things that you want to do is be able to talk to objects the way you want, the way that makes sense. So often, if I'm finding something that's difficult and I need to do lots of it, maybe working with a string, and we'll show you examples, I use what I like to call the what would I like to say technique. So I'll have an object there and I'll say, well, I want to do this. What should I say to that object in order to get it done? What would I like to say to that object to get that done? And then simply do that. And one comment, when we can use them, unary messages tend to be very simple and clear. So if we can use a unary object, we should go ahead and use that. So let's get into some examples. I've got a string here I will create, testing 1, 2, 3. Now, string is a type of collection, so you can do things like, let's say, string 2, let's remove all the E's, and we'll take a look at this. We removed all the E's, so that's because each character, it's pretty easy to iterate over and reject all the E's. If we want to see if this string includes a 1, I can use this with the string with wildcards and say match, and that should tell us indeed it does. And this is okay, and this is, you may wonder if you can make it at all simpler. And one of the principles, the what would I like to say, a lot of times I'd like to say something like this: string includes substring 1. Now this is a method I wrote because that's how I want to talk to this object. String includes substring 1, and in fact it tells us true. But it doesn't end there. What if you want to replace a substring with something else? We can replace, in this case, let's take a look at that, replace the 1 with uno. And in fact, that returns, it doesn't modify the original string, but it returns you the string with what you want. So this is something that you might find useful. And if you do, instead of several lines of code to do this every single time, this is simple, small, and clear. String, replace this substring with this one. Exactly what I want to do. Some other things I found useful. Okay, right up here you see the asterisks are wildcards for the search. Maybe I have a string and I have to go through concatenating the asterisks on, but I can do that with a unary message. So I may want to do it frequently. To the string, I can just say with wildcards, and that will add that on there, and then I can match it up. Okay. So this is simple and straightforward, and it's only longer than this because we're manually putting these in here. We might need to write code to actually do this. Now, comma separated values, let's look at one of those. 1, 2, 3, okay. It's comma separated values, and a nice method in Syncom Smalltalk is tokens based on. So what will that give us? Let's inspect that, and we'll get 1, 2, 3. We've parsed it based on the character comma. Works great. However, one of the things I've found in some of the past Hidden Gems presentations where we've done some screen scraping, we've gone to websites, grabbed the data on the screen and parsed it because we want to get and process that data. You can have strings that have commas within them, and they put quotes around it. So if we took this CSV string here, let's simply do that and then look at the results of this, we're going to get something that we don't want because this part is broken up and we have a quote delimiting pieces that actually contain commas that aren't meant to be separators. So I created a method. Well, what would I like to say? I'd like just to say CSV tokens. And if I do this, inspect, I get 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one properly parsed based on the CSV rules for doing this. So let me show you just some of the extensions that I've added to string. Include substring, we saw that one. It answers true or false if I include a string. Replace a string with a new string. Comma separated value tokens. So it uses the simple one if there's not a quote in there. So it does the simple thing if it's simple. It does more processing if it's warranted. I created one, and you might be able to think of a better name, but I wanted, does it include the substring word, which means I don't want it to answer true if it's a part of a bigger word. I want it to be the string followed by a space, and I could extend that to including commas and other types of white space. Remove carriage return. Remove duplicate spaces. So I might have something with lots of extra spaces between words, maybe 2, 3 spaces, but I want to make it consistent with one space between everyone. So this will go and remove multiple spaces. Often I end up processing something and I have extra spaces at the beginning and the end, the leading and trailing spaces. I can remove those, again, with a nice unary method. Remove leading trailing white space. That takes off additional things, carriage returns, line feeds, spaces, etc. Remove substring word, just like the other remove substring. Removes white spaces, just as it says. So those are some extensions that I have found useful in dealing with strings. So here are some of the implementations. I have them in Ardent Extensions, which I'm happy to send you if you send me an email and request it. So replace a string with a new string. And we make it a stream. We go up to that string, which will go to the end if it's not found. And the new part of the new string is up to that, the part we want to replace. Then we concatenate that with the new string, and then we go through the part we're removing and then get the rest of it and concatenate it and return that, and that's how it's done. And of course you wouldn't want to have this set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of code everywhere you wanted to do this, because it wouldn't be simple, clear, minimal, and obvious. But sending replace substring with this is. CSV tokens. If it doesn't include the quote, it just does the simple thing. And other than that, it does the more extensive, using the quotes as delimiters, so we ignore the commas that are within the quotes because they're not meant to be delimiters for the comma-separated values. So that's some of the basics. What do we talk about? Well, remember, you always want to make frequent or hard things simple, succinct, and as clear as possible. We want to get more done with less code and be incredibly clear. One of the big advantages of Smalltalk. We want to use the "what would I like to say" technique for how we talk to our objects, and use unary message where you can to make them simple and clear. If you'd like these extensions, or you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please send them to me at athomas@syncom.com. Thank you. And until next time, have a great time with Syncom Smalltalk.